tell you a little bit about my F3, the Fitness Fellowship and Faith journey that I went on. I had another friend, and this was 2018. He kept telling me about this F3 workout group where a bunch of men get together and exercise, kind of a boot camp style workout. And I was definitely not interested. And he kept hitting me up week after week, and literally week after week. He says, "Man, you got to come to this thing. You got to come to this thing." And so finally, I really honestly got tired of him asking me. I said, "Look, you're my friend. For you, I'm going to go. I'll do this for you, but I'll do it once and that's it." Now, at that time, I was 65 pounds heavier than I am right now. There was a whole journey where I went through of actually changing my diet and all this stuff. But I ended up um, coming with him. It was actually on December 1st, 2018. It was another one of those moments. It's like, I think I'm going to die. And it was a workout in Charlottesville with some other guys. And the first workout, it was like you warm up, and then we ran up a hill, and then we did what's called these burp blocks. And if you know what those are, it's just like doing burpees. Okay, so my first experience with F3 was running up a hill and doing burpees continuously around the block of in the city. And it was pathetic. Cheesy Poof was leading that one.
By the way, for the listeners, as I mentioned in the intro, we all do have these silly names, and Cheesy Poof is our leader, also known as our Nantan here locally in Charlottesville. So anyway, great guy.
Yeah. So anyway, so we were doing the burp blocks, and I made it through the end of the workout, and I was beat, and I thought to myself, it's like, okay, maybe this is something that I not only would benefit from, but I actually need at this point. And I had already, like I mentioned, I had changed my diet about 3 months before that. I'd started dropping some weight, and I really wanted to get in shape. And mostly because I saw my grandkids, I started to have grandkids, and, I didn't want to be, a fat, lazy, old man in my 60s or 70s and not be able to play with them, or I wanted to at least be somewhat of an example of what a 60 or 70-year-old guy could look like. I don't know, it was just kind of a wake-up call for me. So after that workout, I thought, I really do need to maybe stick with this. And so I came back the next week, and I don't know, so week after week I would do this, and I was so sore after every workout for like 3 days, where I could hardly move. After probably about 5 or 6 weeks of doing this, I decided to add a second day, and then I was less sore, and was starting to see some of the benefits, and was able to start doing some of the exercises. Anyway, I remember one day, one of the guys there was joking around with me, and he was giving me a hard time. And he told me, he said, "I want to confess something to you." He said, "You were one of those guys when you first showed up." He said, "I actually bet some other guys that you would never show up again after the first workout." And he says, "I can't believe that you stuck with this." And so anyway, it was pretty cool, and anyway, so it was one of those things, like, I was certainly the example of the guy that's going to be a one and done, at least on the surface. But there was something motivating me to, again, not to look at the short term, but really, what is my ultimate goal here? Is just to be healthy. Honestly, it's just to be healthy and be in good shape in my 60s and my 70s and beyond. And I knew that the two things that made the biggest difference was diet and exercise. And F3 was hugely instrumental in me getting to where I am today. And anyway, so I did that. I was committed to doing that for several years. I had started running a little bit during the workouts, because that's part of what the workouts do. And so I decided, somebody was doing a sort of a pre-workout run where you just get about a mile in or so, and before the workout. And I decided to start doing that and adding a little bit of jogging into my workout. Anyway, so I did that for some time. And then at one point, one of the guys, I think it was Cheesy Poof, had mentioned something about doing a relay race with somebody forming an F3 team, and wanted to know if I would be interested in being an alternate for that. Here's the old guy, being an alternate for a running race who hasn't really run at all, has only done 2 5Ks. Well, I told him, I was like, no, it's not for me. I'm not interested in doing it. He says, "Come on, man, I've seen you run. You can run okay. You can do this." And anyway, it's really encouraging, and it sparked something in me. And I actually said, "Okay, here's the deal. I'll train as if I'm going to run it, but I'm probably, but I'm not really, that interested in it. Well, so as the weeks went on, I started training a little bit more, adding a little more mileage, and ironically, it's like one of the guys got hurt, and I ended up being asked to actually join the team. So I joined this team where it was a relay race where 12 guys go for 200, a little over 200 miles, running continuously, trading in and out, where the guys were, one guy would do 3 miles, the next guy might do 6 miles or whatever. I was given probably the lowest miles of the cumulative miles on the team. So I think a total of 11 miles is what I ended up running out of that 200 miles. But that experience was so profound for me. The camaraderie, just being able to do something with other guys. And oddly enough, we won the race. Being on a winning team, even though I was I was the least of the capable guys in there, but being on that winning team was huge for me. I'm not even sure I can explain why, and maybe it wasn't the victory so much as it being part of something. Because certainly I wouldn't have had any. I didn't contribute necessarily to much of the winning part of it, but I was a part of something that was truly satisfying, and it motivated me because I had trained. I thought, I've actually done a pretty good amount of training for this. I think I'm just going to continue to keep this level of running up. And that's when I really started enjoying running. It was the first time that I had ever experienced kind of a motivation to actually keep on going.